Hey, kia ora, Helen Brahms here, coming from a very warm Yuma here in Arizona. Hope you're all having a super fantastic, sparkling tune-up Tuesday. So how was your tune-up Tuesday? What did you learn? What did you tweak today to get you going after your dreams and goals? Remember, today was all about notice, appreciate, and multiply. And that was the story that we read this morning from Think Positive and Live Happy, the Chicken Soup for the Soul book. Great book about a woman who keeps her appreciation, her abundance journals, and every day she talks about the abundance that appears in her life. So how did you get on with that? Did you get an abundance journal? Start doing one? What are you grateful for today? And what tweaks have you made along the way? Your fun activity was listening to soundtracks of movies from the 80s. This is my era. I love music from the 80s. I love the other eras as well, but the 80s, that was my teenage years. Teenage to early 20s. So this was my growing up era. So this music in this time had a lot of impact on me, along with the movies. You know, there were I was looking through the list just to see which movies came out in the 80s, so I could make sure I got the right movies and didn't misinform anybody. But you've got movies, and I didn't realize some of these came out in the 80s. I'm like, oh my God, some of these movies, these movies are going to be 40, coming up on 40 years old. 2020 to 1980, 40 years. Wow. So like, oh my God, I feel so inspired. I feel so young. So you got movies that came out in the 80s like Blues Brothers. Oh my gosh. The soundtrack on that thing is incredible. I love that. I mean, you got Aretha Franklin singing on there. You got Ray Charles on there. You've got the Blues Brothers, of course. So many great songs came out of that movie. That was an awesome soundtrack. Love that movie. And how many times did they have to sing Rawhide? That whole thing with the Western singing cracks me up. Pretty in Pink came out. This was the era of the what do they call them? There was Molly Ringwald, Emilio Estevez, Ali Sheen, Rob Lowe. Who else was in that group? I'm trying to think. Brain's gone dead on that one. But they all were involved with movies, things like The Breakfast Club, Pretty in Pink, St. Elmo's Fire. There were great songs. What else did I have written down here? 16 Candles. There were great songs that came out of those movies that they either all appeared in together or some of them appeared in. So there's great movies, great songs out of those ones. You also had The Untouchables out back during that time. One of my favorite trilogies, Back to the Future. I mean, can you look at the music in that one? Beverly Hills Cop. Love that one. That was Neutron Dance with the Pointer Sisters. Then there was Axel F, which was complete music, no lyrics, awesome piece of music. Fast Times at Ridgemont High. Flashdance. There's some great songs that came out of that one. One of my favorites, Footloose with Kevin Bacon, the original Footloose, not the release. Let's Hear It for the Boys. And of course the song Footloose. There's great. I'm seeing the song. I'm seeing the movie, and I've got great songs in them. And then when I go to think of the songs, I'm like, I can't think of one of them. E.T. came out during that time. Raiders of the Lost Ark, Beetlejuice. I'm like, Beetlejuice came out in the 80s. I thought that was like a little later, like the 90s, but nope, that was in the 80s. Karate Kid, great song. Peter Cetera. Damn, I was just singing it earlier too. Like a knight in shining armor from a long time ago. Oh, it'll come to me. Oh, I've got the song going in my head. I can't think what it's called. But there's some great songs out of that movie, out of Karate Kid. Desperately Seeking Susan, that starred Madonna in there and had her song Get Into the Groove. We talked about Breakfast Club. Mannequin. What was that song in Mannequin? Oh. Like I said, mind goes blank. Chariots of Fire came out in the 80s. I'm looking at my list. I said E.T. Yeah, Chariots of Fire. Great music score in that movie. I always want to do Slow Running whenever I hear the theme song to that movie. And then, of course, we cannot forget two of my absolute favorite movies from the 80s, Top Gun, and of course, Dirty Dancing. I mean, that one's just, that's just out there. But you know, when you think about some of these movies and you think about the soundtracks that were in there, some of the songs that came out of those movies, I mean, you've got, of course, Footloose, Let's Hear It for the Boys from the movie Footloose, of course. Nothing's Gonna Stop Us Now, that's the one from Mannequin. I'm just scrolling up this list here that I have here, trying to remember these songs that came out. What was the song? True by Spandau Ballet was from 16 Candles. Don't You Forget About Me from The Breakfast Club. I mean, that's such a great movie. Flashdance, you know, they've got Maniac in there. They've got the theme song of the movie. They've got some other great songs in there as well. Let's see, what other ones are from the 80s? Neutron Dancer, XLF, we'll talk about that from Beverly Hills Cop. If You Leave from Pretty in Pink, remember the scene of that one? I remember the scene from that song. If you don't, go watch it. You know, I've had the time of my life. She's Like the Wind. You know, Patrick Swayze sung that song, She's Like the Wind. And then, of course, you've got the theme song, I've Had the Time of My Life. And then there was a lot of other great 60s music that was involved in there as well. So now I've got to... Excuse me. Sorry about that. I had an itchy nose all of a sudden. Desperately Seeking Susan, that had Get Into the Groove, Into the Groove, sorry, not Get Into the Groove, Into the Groove. Let's see, St. Elmo's Fire, of course, had the theme song with St. Elmo's Fire. It's such a great track. Rhythm of the Night from the martial arts movie Last Dragon. Totally forgot about that one. Somebody's Baby from Fast Times at Ridgemont High. What else did they have? Take My Breath Away from Top Gun, along with the theme song from the movie. But whenever the Take My Breath Away would come on, my husband would crank up the volume. He would crank it up and blast it. He loved that song. For me, it was a great movie and everything else, but that opening scene with the music and the jets taking off, that was my favorite scene. Whenever the jets are out flying, that's my favorite thing. But that would be our sound check on our stereo system, because it had such great bass in there and treble. It went across the spectrum of sound. So when we had our movie theater built in our house back in Virginia, the guys said, like, okay, we've got the sound balance and everything else, we need to check it out. And Brad says, go on, do it. So I go and I pull out top and they go, what are you doing? And we said, just go sit over there. And didn't let them know what it was until we played that opening scene with the music and everything else. Oh my gosh, the sound was incredible in our home theater. Just on DVD, that opening scene, we cranked it up. We could only go to like -2 on the decibel level. That's all we could handle. But then our boys were overstaying one weekend, and for some reason Brad and I were out of the house. I can't remember where we were, but Chris was down in the basement and he was in the movie theater. I don't know what he was watching. Josh was walking up the driveway. We had an 80-foot driveway. He's walking up, he could hear this thud, 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 thud. He couldn't figure out what it was. He gets into the house, he's hearing it. Now you got to understand, our basement was about half buried, but it also had the sound absorbing insulation stuff that was on the walls. So we didn't have the regular gyp board that the sounds bounce off and everything else. We had this insulation that had a fabric over top, which was 95% sound absorbing. Just to give you a heads up, it absorbed a lot of sound. But Josh could hear at the end of the driveway this thump, thump, thump. He gets close to the house, it gets louder. He gets into the house, he goes down to the basement, and he goes to Chris and goes, what are you doing? And Chris said, oh, just seeing how loud I could get it. He had it on +2 or +3, somewhere around there. It was in the single digits. It was on the plus side of 0 for the decibels. And I was just sort of, and when we got home and we heard about this, it was like, oh my gosh. Well, you know, we could barely handle -2, and this kid's sitting in +2, +3, +4, somewhere around there. I'm like, okay, whatever. But yeah, so that was one of my favorite movies to do testing of. You know, Karate Kid, you've got Cruel Summer with Bananarama, you've got, oh, what is Peter Cetera's song? Glory of Love? Is that the one? Yeah, Glory of Love. I think that's the one. Yeah, you got it. From Karate Kid, love that song. Can sing it to you, but I don't remember it. And then you've got, you know, like the blues, just so many great songs from the soundtracks. So many great songs from the 80s that found their ways into, that were written for movies or were in movies. So there's great soundtracks from the 80s that were in there. And I was writing this list out, and I was sort of like, oh, I remember these movies, and I'd start singing some of the songs from them. And of course, I get live on here and mind wipe. So today I made a good dent into my to-do list, which was stuff that had to be done around the RV. Got the laundry done. Had to walk all the way down. I mean, this is a massive RV resort. They have, how many? They have well over 1,000. I want to say they have about 1,300 sites here. It's massive. It's massive. And so I thought, okay, I know the laundry's somewhere down near the office where I have to go and register. And so I pulled out my little pink cart. I put the laundry in it, and I thought, I'm just going to take it all down there with me, put my little backpack in there as well, put my sun hat on, my glasses and everything else. Zeffie did get out of the RV at one point when I was loading the laundry into the cart, but she didn't go ripping off like she normally does. She just trotted out there, trotted around the circle, and came right back to me. Because I just called her, I said, Zeffie, and she comes right back to me. I was like, good girl, and picked her up, gave her some hugs, told her I'd be back soon, and put her inside, shut the door, locked it up. I'm like 10 sites down the street, and I'm like, oh, jeepers. I had many more sites to go. So I finally got to I had to go halfway down this street and then take a left to go to where the office building was. Finally got to the office building and got all checked in and everything else. They didn't even know I was in the park. I said, I've come to check in. I said, I arrived yesterday after the office closed, and the guy at the gate took all my information. They didn't even have that form. And they had no record of me in their system. And I'm like, I could have actually stayed here and not come up to the office and checked in and just left tomorrow, and they would be none the wiser. And I was like, no, that's not the type of person that I am. Some people would have done that. They would have waited for like a phone call or something to say, oh, you're coming in to check in, or did you make it here last night? But nope. So I had to give them all my information all over again and everything else. And then one of the girls who I actually spoke to yesterday walked me to where the laundry was, and the laundry gets closed tomorrow for 2 weeks while they rip out all the machines and replace them with all brand new machines. And so I was like, ooh. But I go in there and they've got like buffers out all over, like they're stripping off the wax off the floor, and then they're going to buff it and mop it and all that sort of stuff. And I'm like, why are they cleaning the floor if they're ripping out all the machines tomorrow? But it was all coin operated. But I bet you the next time I come back, I bet that the machines are going to be digital by an app, and it's going to cost you more money. Because that seems to be what a lot of the long-term parks are doing. They're going to, instead of doing the coins, they're going to ones that have got where you either pay with a credit card or you pay with an app, and it's costing you more because now they've got to funnel in the cost of new machines plus a new way of doing things. But I didn't care. I got my washing done. It was $2.25 a load, $1.25 to wash, $1 to dry. So I got my 3 loads done, came back to the RV, and of course Zeffie's like all over the place, like telling me all the stuff that happened while I was gone for 2 hours, and how dare I leave her. I don't know what she was saying, but it sounded good anyway. And so then I went and got all the laundry folded and put away, and but we have an issue. AC number 1, which is the one at the front of the unit here, the fan is working on it. I replaced the filters in the ACs today, and then I started to notice this really weird, kind of like an electrical burning smell, but not really electrical burning smell. So I'm actually wondering if it's because the front AC kind of had a little bit of an issue with it, but it seemed to be working fine the last few days. But this morning when I was having breakfast, I noticed this smell, and I kept thinking, I wonder if it's because I had my porridge in front of me, so I been down to sniff my porridge. Nope, that wasn't it. I thought, ooh, I hope it's not the replacement piece they put on AC number 2. And then I said, oh. So I walked towards the front to see if I could detect which AC it was coming from. It was coming from AC number 1. So I went in and I switched it to fan only. So AC number 2 has been going all day. And surprisingly, for one AC in the unit, despite the fact that it's 106 degrees outside with a maximum of 104, but it only feels like 100. The bedroom's currently sitting at 88, and out here in the in the living area, it's at 92. So we've been spending as much time as we can in the bedroom where it's a lot cooler in there, and we've also got another fan going in there, but I do have a small portable fan out here that's going as well. But I switched the front AC to fan only and the smell went away. So it's something and then I thought, okay, that's been off for a while, so I tried it again. The smell came back immediately. So either it's at the end of the Freon or there's something's burning out in the actual compressor area. So that's going to be one of my first things I do when I get to Mesa is find out who can come check out the AC, get the replacement put in, all of that sort of stuff. So they've given me the site number already for Mesa, and my front, hang on, I've got to remember, where's the front facing? Front faces west. So it means that the sun's going to come up at the back of the coach, come around the driver's side, and then hit the afternoon sun will hit the front of the RV. So I'm hoping we can get it fixed quickly. But hey, it all gets done under warranty. I was hoping that it could be put off till like February next year. We could get it done before the heat comes back in, but there's still a little heat going on in Arizona, so we kind of need to get it fixed. Yeah, so that was my AC trouble today. But you know, it's starting to cool down. I'm sitting here, I've got one of the vents open. So I've got one of the side vents open up there, trying to create some cool air in this area. And the vent on the other side's pointing towards the refrigerator freezer, trying to keep it cool from that area. I've got the awning out, so it's putting that whole side piece where the refrigerator and stuff is in shape, because in an RV, you have to keep the area where the fridge and freezer is cool on the outside too, cool, because otherwise it can overheat everything on the inside as far as the refrigerator goes, and it could end up burning itself out. So if you haven't, the ideal is to have the refrigerator on the driver's side, on the passenger's side, and have the awning cover that area, and hope like crazy it's not a windy area. I've seen videos where they've had like residential refrigerators that they've taken out, and they've lined the back of the fridge bay with the Reflectix to help keep it cooler there because of the heat coming in from the outside. But as you can see, my unit is built in. There is no space around it. There's vents down the bottom there, and that's where we're trying to help keep it cool with the air going down there, and also having the awning out to try and keep it cool, so it's operating at optimum without overheating. So you got to think of things like this when you're in an RV. So it's been a warm day. We have got some stuff done on our to-do list. We still have some more stuff to do on our to-do list before we leave tomorrow and head to Mesa, Arizona, which is part of Phoenix. We're going to be there for 3 months. Oh, that was interesting too. When the woman walked me to the laundry, she was saying, she says, now how long are you staying here for? I said, I'm just here till tomorrow. I'm just here for the 2 nights. And she's like, she says, has anybody told you about the special we have? I said, what special's that? She says, you get October and November, I think it was 2 months, for like $300 each. No, October, November, December you get for, no. What was it? It was October, November. It was like pay for 1 month, get 2 free or something like that. And I said, I already have that offer in Mesa, and that's why I stopped here, because I'm on my way to Mesa, Arizona. And that's the deal that I have there. But they did 4 months. They didn't send me the email that was from the 1st of September to December 31st, where I paid for 1 month and got 3 free. But they didn't send me the email to the 10th of September, and I wasn't sure if I knew I was going to go over there at some point. I just wasn't sure exactly when, so I didn't make my reservation until yesterday. I said, had you told me this today before I made my reservation, we might have talked. But I actually have a friend who may meet me in Mesa, Arizona, under the same deal. So she's working out her logistics and everything else, and she's going to call them up before tomorrow and let them know that she wants to camp somewhere near me. And I'm going to let them know when I get in tomorrow that, hey, my friend has booked, this is her name, and if there's any way you can get her in a campsite near where I am, that would be awesome. I said we haven't seen each other since May, so it would be awesome to be near her and catch up. If we could be next door to each other, that would be even awesomer. So we shall see. But yeah, so that's all our update for today. So we've had a very warm day, although we have spent a lot of time in the bedroom today because it is cooler in there. I just hope I don't burn out the second AC as well. But hey, they replaced that part and it's been running like perfectly ever since. So I'm off to figure out what I'm going to do for dinner. I did not have pizza last night. I was toying with it and I was like, I really can't be bothered ordering anything. It was just too much hassle. So I pulled out the Instapot and made myself a bowl of porridge, but I made it a dessert porridge. Not only did I have the brown sugar substitute on there, I had some chocolate chips on there, I had some craisins on there. I could have opened some pineapple. I just thought of that. I have cans of pineapple as well. Could have opened some pineapple and put that on there as well. And then I had some whipped cream on top. Oh, so good. So good. It was so creamy. And because I also, instead of using milk, I use heavy whipping cream as liquid and poured that in, kind of like you do with milk. And then I had the whipped cream on top. Oh, so good. It was a dessert porridge. And I did have some hard-boiled eggs with it too. So I did get some protein in there. But I just felt like something sweet. I didn't, pizza sounded really good, but I felt more like I needed something sweet. So I had my hard-boiled eggs for the protein, and then I made my dessert porridge. It was good. But I would tell you that Instapot, you get the steel cut oats because they take longer to cook. And you put, for that I put in 2 cups of water, half a cup of the steel cut oats, press the porridge cycle for 5 minutes. Then when the porridge cycle finishes, I let it sit and naturally release for 15 to 20 minutes. So it means I can set it before I go out for a walk with Zeffie. We go do our walk, she goes for a run in the dog park, whatever. We come back in and it's ready. So that's how we make use of our time in the morning. Multitasking. Breakfast is cooking while we're out walking. And then we come back and we have these nice healthy, and the cool part about steel cut oats is they don't have gluten in them. For some reason the steel cut oats, the way they are gluten free compared to if you have regular oatmeal. I don't know. I'm not a scientist. Don't ask me how is that possible. I don't know. It is grains, yes. It is carbs, yes. But it's good, it's hearty, and it's healthy, and it actually keeps me going for a majority of the day, and so which is kind of cool. So it'll keep me going through to like lunchtime, and then I can top up again. But I don't have to snack during the morning. Sometimes I have to if I have other stuff, but yeah, with porridge and protein stuff, I usually don't have to. So anyway, that's it from me. Go enjoy the rest of your Tune-Up Tuesday. Make it super fantastic and sparkling, and we will catch you back here tomorrow morning for Winning Wednesday. Yay! Winning Wednesday's coming up. Woohoo! Have a super fantastic sparkling evening. We'll catch you guys tomorrow. Hey, konera.